year was 1986, and it was all about Madonna as her album True Blue topped the charts.
The Mets beat the Red Sox 4-3 to win the World Series.
And the Fox Broadcasting Company was launched.
And in August of 1986, this is what we were watching on the news then. We begin with a story that became a tabloid obsession. It all started on August 26, 1986, with the murder of 18-year-old Jennifer Levin.
Her murderer would gain notoriety as the Preppy killer.
She was a great kid. I mean, she was...
This is Bob O'Brien. Throughout the afternoon, friends and family of Jennifer Dawn Levin rushed to the Mercer Street loft building in Soho, where she lived for the last 8 years with her father, Stephen, and his second wife. The 18-year-old murder victim was a vivacious, popular young woman who was just about to leave September 2nd for her first year at Chamberlain Junior College in Boston. Jennifer had just graduated this year from the Baldwin School, a private preparatory school on Manhattan's West Side. Shortly before 3 this afternoon, Jennifer's distraught mother, Ellen Levin, was brought to the Mercer Street loft by a friend. She had just been told of her daughter's murder a short time before. Detective Michael Sheehan spent a couple of hours with Jennifer's family this afternoon.
Decent kid, just graduated from high school, strike. The family's destroyed. Destroyed. Oh, I'm telling you. Super grief.
Jennifer's uncle, Dan Levin, described his slain niece as a bubbly, outgoing kid with a wonderful, winning personality. He, too, found the fact of her murder impossible to accept.
I've lived in New York City for 19 years, but I am very, very hesitantly coming to the conclusion that New York City is no longer a fit place in which to live. I missed by 1 minute seeing a murder in the bright of day in First Avenue a number of months ago. I've had my car broken into in front of my house. I mean, it's an armed camp. I really think it's a social experiment that's failed. A lot of people feel that way, people that I know, and I don't know. This is just such an unreal experience that I may be saying things that I'm sorry for later, but I have been thinking these things for a long time.
Did you ever talk about your feelings about this, Jennifer?
No, I never did.
Was she fearful? Was she fearful of New York City? I mean,
kids who are 18 think nothing can ever happen to them. You know that.
Jennifer Levin had a summer job at the South Street Seaport, working as a hostess at Flutie's restaurant on Pier 17. Her co-workers there were numbed by the sudden death of the girl with whom they had worked and played.
We go out in large groups and pretty much hang around, and everyone develops like a sense of camaraderie amongst the staff between bartenders, waitresses, hosts, and she was one of the fun people that we used to laugh a lot, we had a good time, no one ever had a problem. And it's like a little piece of yourself because like you develop a very close relationship.
Detectives say Jennifer Levin may have encountered her killer at Dorian's restaurant on 2nd Avenue and 84th Street. The place is popular with the preppy college crowd with which she hung out. The young murder victim came here for dinner after midnight last night with 2 girlfriends. Those other girls left sometime before Jennifer did. But during the evening, Jennifer had complained to the bartender that a stranger had been pestering her. The bartender indicated to that man that he, the bartender, was going to take Jennifer home when he closed up for the night. However, the bartender and other workers were distracted by some unruly customers. When they looked around for Jennifer, she was already gone. Detectives are questioning several people who were at Dorian's restaurant last night in hopes of pinpointing just who took her out of the place. So far, no word on how that investigation is proceeding.
What do a bank robber, a sex change, and a movie star have to do with Brooklyn?
Here's a story of the bank robbery that captured the attention of the nation and inspired a Hollywood movie.
14 years ago this month, New Yorkers witnessed a bizarre bank robbery. It lasted 2 days, involved 9 hostages, inspired a book and a movie that has continued to intrigue audiences with its look at a seamier side of this city. The movie is Dog Day Afternoon and stars Al Pacino as the famed bank robber. The real holdup man, John Waterwitz, is somewhat less glamorous than Mr. Pacino, but no less interested in the spotlight. Waterwitz likes the attention he's received, and now he's getting even more. The Dog Day bank robber is back in the headlines and back in jail. David Miller tracked him down and talked to him about his lot in life and that day in Brooklyn that will live in infamy.
I was willing to die to save my lover's life. And that's why they made a movie about it. Because I'm the only one to ever leave the scene of the crime once the FBI had taken over. I'm the only one to have the President of the United States, Richard Nixon, cut off for TV when he's making his acceptance speech in Miami Beach that night. My crime is the second crime in history that was ever broadcast as it actually happened.
John, you sound almost proud of the fact that you held up hostages, you got national media, you're the subject of a movie and a book. Is this some type of ego trip?
It's not the point of being proud. It's the point of trying to save someone's life, and you do what you have to do to save that life, and that's what I did, okay? And as a result of this, a movie was made. My male lover was taken out of the prison, out of the psychiatric hospital. He was released. He got the sex change operation. He's now a woman, living a relatively happy life, and I went to prison to do the time for the act I committed.
Happy birthday!
The movie Dog Day Afternoon grossed millions of dollars and was nominated for 6 Academy Awards. But where the movie left off, life continued. A lot has happened since that day in August of 1972, that dog day of summer, the hottest day of the year. John Waterwitz did his time and was paroled. His so-called male wife, Ernest, known in the movie as Leon, had his sex change operation. The cost, $11,000, that John gave Ernest from his movie royalties. Today, Ernest goes by the name of Liz Eden. Liz for Liz Taylor, and Eden for that biblical paradise. And what happened to the great love that drove John Waterwitz to commit a felony? What is your relationship today with the man you held up the bank for?
We see each other rarely. He was married to another person back in 1973 because he was legally a female. And we bump into each other once in a while, and that's it.
Don't you think it's actually sad that you risked your life, held hostages, policemen could have been killed for someone that you now see on an infrequent, casual basis?
I would like to see them and be with them all the time, but they choose not to, okay? But they wouldn't be here to see, and they wouldn't be alive if I didn't do the things that I did.
Are you bitter about the relationship now with this person? With the person you've...
No, I'm not bitter about it. I just regret that I'm not with them.
But John is not alone. These days, he is married to another man, a jailhouse lawyer, George Heath. And it's this new relationship that has John Waterwitz back in jail for a third time. The government this month charged John with 2 parole violations, leaving the New York City area without permission and visiting his latest romantic interest in jail, in government lingo, association with a person having a criminal record. What are you doing back in prison? What happened?
Okay, they're charging me with going up on Memorial Day weekend to see my male wife, George Heath, at the state prison.
And in Auburn, New York.
Right, and I didn't go up to Auburn, New York in May or any time in the last 3 years to see George Heath.
You have not been there at all?
No, I haven't been there at all.
They say you were there and you shouldn't have been.
The government says that I went there, to visit him, and I didn't go there to visit him. And I haven't seen him in 3 years. And if I only have 1 year to go, why would I go see him on that weekend, on those days, right? When after a year I could go see him all I wanted every day I wanted to.
Why would the government want to frame you? Why would someone want to impersonate John Waterwitz?
Well, I don't know nothing about supposedly the government trying to frame me or being a setup. What I'm saying is that I was not the one that went on those days to visit him. That it was somebody else.
Someone signed into Auburn prison using your name.
Right, but it wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my people were able to get in touch with Mr. Heath, and George is going to be coming down to testify. My wife, George, is coming down to testify in front of the commission that I was not the one that went up there to see him. That, in fact, it was somebody else because it was somebody else.
John's parole board hearing is scheduled for next month. It's possible he may serve up to 6 years. This is a man who, before that Dog Day afternoon, never committed a crime. That day changed his life forever.
Did you agree, looking back, it was a terrible and violent thing to do?
No, I don't consider it to be terrible and violent.
You do not regret it?
No, I don't regret it, because I went in there to commit what I was committing to save the life of someone I loved who was in a sane asylum put there by a court order. And I wanted my wife, Ernest, out of prison. I wanted him to have the sex change, out of the nut house, and to have the sex change and to live happily.
What about?
That's why none of the hostages were never harmed by us or injured by us, because we were not there to take lives, we were there saving a life. It was only the police that surrounded the place that kept making accusations that we were harming the hostages in order to come in to stop us. And then finally the FBI came in, cut off all the power to the bank, right, and then started with us. And then we told them the same things. You give us the van, we give you a hostage. You bring us to the airport, you get a hostage. We get on the plane, you get a hostage. Our sole purpose was to take my male wife to Denmark for the sex change operation.
All right, there's your jet. We get one more now, right? That's the deal.
Right. Okay, who goes?
Sylvia.
Maria. I'll pray for you.
If you had it to do over again, would you have held up that bank?
Every time I do these interviews, they ask me that same question, right? And I am told by my lawyers and by everybody else not to answer that question. But I'm going to answer it for the simple reason that if I had a dream and I foresaw all of this happening to me in that dream, and I woke up the next morning, would I go out and do it? Yes. And the reason why it's yes is because I loved that person. I loved my male wife.
From garbage pail kids to My Pet Monster and even a pregnant mommy doll that gives birth.
That's right. Those were some of the toys that were on many kids' wish list back in 1986.
Well, remember all those cuddly toys that used to be so popular? There were Barbie dolls and Ken dolls and Cabbage Patch Kids. Toys used to be so cute it would make you, well, smile. Well, not anymore. Judy Licht reports.
Mad balls, gross for one, gross for all.
If you're a toy manufacturer, gross is not only good, it's great nowadays. Approximately 10 million Mad Balls will be sold this year, and they're not alone.
Awesome!
Looking great.
And My Pet Monster may look ugly to you, but to the company that has sold more than 1 million of them in just a few short months, he looks gorgeous.
In case you haven't been shopping lately, toy stores that used to be filled with Barbie dolls and teddy bears are now inhabited by monsters. Creepy, crawly, ugly things that very often ooze and smell. And they're the fastest selling toys in the store.
It started about a year ago with the Garbage Pail Kids, a slimy send-off of the Cabbage Patch dolls. Stickers, they come 5 in a bubblegum pack, and stores can't keep up with them. There's also Creeps, a giant crawly bug. Inhumanoids, that sort of speaks for itself. There's also, quote, the Slime Pit, an evil pit of gruesome ooze. You get the idea. The list goes on. The bigger the toy grosses out, the bigger the grosses.
Boys have always loved monsters, and I think they always will. They don't see them as monsters or ugly. They just sort of fantasize with them.
He should know his name is Ralph Schaefer, and he's the creative force behind mega successes like Strawberry Shortcake and the Care Bears, all of which appeal to little girls.
There's a bit of a problem in the toy business that if the boy thinks the girl likes this, he won't touch it. He won't buy it. Boys have ego problems, and if they think it's a girl's toy, I ain't going to be buying that because I want boys' toys.
A child psychologist who also consults with a toy magazine agrees.
For the two reasons. One is that they're more aggressive, and two is that I think we place more of a burden on them to be tough and not cry, and so that they tend to relate to scary things as a way of venting those two feelings.
Well, you may be wondering, what's new for little girls? Just today, the Mattel Company announced the Hart Family new arrival doll set, including a daddy doll and, for the first time ever, a pregnant mommy doll, who immediately upon delivering her little baby reverts to her formerly slim self. And that's how you can tell it's a toy, ladies and gentlemen. Judy Licht, Channel 5 News.
From beer to ice cream, the high prices we paid back then don't seem so high compared to today.
Reporter Carl White headed to the U.S. Open to find out what things cost.
Now, most of us have gone out to a baseball game and been appalled at the outrageous amount of money they charge for things like hot dogs. And baseball is for the masses. Tennis is an upscale sport. Well, Carl White went out to the U.S. Open today and found out the hard way what upscale means.
Oh, my first day at the U.S. Open. Boy, I just can't wait to get in.
Excuse me, have your press badge?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Do you have any money with you?
Money with me?
Money with you.
I only got $2.
That's all right, Charlie. Have a good day.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Well, after I told him my name wasn't Charlie, I had to get a program. I mean, a man can't watch a tennis match without a program, right? How much for a program? How much?
You $5.
For me, $5?
Right.
I only got $2.
Well, you can get a single draw sheet for $1.
Single draw. I want a program for $2.
Well, I'm afraid it's $5.
Everything's too expensive here.
Yeah, it's less than a sandwich, though.
Sure, less than a sandwich. But it didn't take me long to find out that my $2 were worthless at the U.S. Open. For the price of a sandwich, I could have made a down payment on a condo. And $2.95 for the official beer of the Open? What a crime! $2.95 for the official beer, Heineken. You thirsty?
As a matter of fact, the water is real good here.
Hello, Mom? Yeah, I'm at the U.S. Open. Could you wire me some money? All right, thanks. I only brought $2. You think I'm going to get much to eat and have a good time today?
I think you might get a soda, that's it.
Possibly a hamburger. Possibly French fries.
Hello, Mom? Yeah, I'm at the U.S. Open. Could you wire me some money? How much you pay for that ice cream?
A lot of money, $1.50.
Could you wire me some money? Looks like a good cup of espresso. How much you pay for it?
Well, it was somewhere around $3.75.
Kind of expensive, huh?
Yeah, but you know, it comes in a dandy little cup, and it's
you can take that home with you.
Oh yeah, it's probably it's a good cup of coffee, but it's $3.75.
Can you buy me a glass, or can you afford it?
I think I'll have to go out and get a loan, but I'll be right back.
Well, with that, I'd finally had enough. On to the press room, where the food is free and the media gets respect. Press room. Yeah, I know they know how to take care of the guys here. Free food. Look at this. No lines. It's going to be great. Press dining. All right, let's see. Fruit salad, $2.75. Roast beef, $5.95. I thought press room was going to be free. Well, it's obvious to me that the only sportscaster that can really afford to have a good time at the U.S. Open is the one and only Bill Mazer. Reporting from the U.S. Open, Carl White, Channel 5 Sports.
And now let's check out what the weather looked like on August 26, 1986.
That's right, rain ahead, folks, starting for tomorrow. The high for today, meantime, made it up to 78 degrees as we take you live now to Chinatown, the low down to 62. It is now 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity level has creeped up to 82%. Winds out of the south at 6 miles per hour, our barometer holding steady, and the skies indeed are cloudy. Now, if you take a look at our satellite photograph, you can see the massive cloud swirl that is heading in our direction, and from those clouds, the rain will be starting as early as tomorrow morning. The reason for that is a front. Now, that front divides the very warm air here on the East Coast from the cool air out to the west of us. Temperatures about 20 degrees as far as the wind chill factors are concerned out in the plain states, and that's the kind of air that will be filtering in our direction by the end of the week. Meantime, we have this to get through. That's that front that will bring us the rain, and that happens tomorrow, and it clears out of here by Thursday. Here's your AccuWeather forecast for this Tuesday night. We're calling for partly cloudy skies, 62 degrees in the suburbs, 69 degrees right here in the city. Tomorrow morning as you wake up, partly to mostly cloudy skies, a shower possible, and 72. Sunrise for your Wednesday, 6:18, sunset, 7:37. Here is that 5-day forecast now. For tomorrow, look for the showers starting by the morning in some areas. Thunderstorms could get heavy at times. 84 degrees, though, will be the temperature high. Thursday, much cooler. The high only makes it to 72, and by Friday, only 70 in the evening on Friday, down into the 50s. So bundle up if you're going out and about for the start of the Labor Day weekend. Meantime, gradually warming trend in our forecast by the end of the weekend. If you're heading out of town for tomorrow, you will find showers in Boston. The high there, 82 degrees. Chicago cold, only 69. And LA, a nice one, 90 degrees with lots of sunshine. Have a good night. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night.
And that was the news then.